Well, it's that time once again. I'm here in the beautiful San Fernando Valley, and I actually didn't have a Valley video planned for this month, but I recently heard some news about some Valley locations and some Valley people that I wanted to share with all of you. Now, unfortunately, not all of the news is good, but we're also going to cruise around the Valley a little bit, and hopefully I'll see some things that'll spark some memories and give us some more positive stories. So, let's go see what we can find. I'm currently standing in the parking lot of Valley Plaza off of Victory Boulevard and Laurel Canyon, and we've been here quite a few times. I did an entire segment on Valley Plaza in one of my Valley videos. We've also been here for a few other reasons. I know either in my last Valley video or one of my more recent ones, we stumbled upon them doing some filming right over here, and I showed that to you guys. But the reason why we're here today is I wanted to come down here and document this property, possibly for the very last time, because it has just come out that the city has declared Valley Plaza a public nuisance, and that means they can now demolish it, and that's most likely what's gonna happen. Now, supposedly, this property was purchased a little over a decade ago, and the company that purchased it has done nothing to upkeep it. They haven't repaired any of the buildings. They haven't tried to bring it back to life. It's actually just got worse and worse. And I'm actually surprised how much worse it's got since the last time I was here. And that was just a couple of months ago. I was actually just noticing that some of the buildings that were here a few months ago are now gone. I'm assuming they burned down. I know that there's been quite a few small fires here, and supposedly the police and fire are called out here constantly because of fires and drug overdoses and other crimes. And I've only been here about 10 minutes, and I've already seen quite a few weird things. Now, the section across the street, that seems to be doing fine. That's where the Target and the Ross and a couple of other small businesses are. But over here on this side, you've really just got the Wells Fargo, a clinic. I think the IHOP might still be open, but I'm not sure. And that's really it. Everything else is abandoned. So I'm assuming they're definitely gonna tear down this side, but I don't know about the side across the street. So I'm gonna cruise around right now. I'm going to document what's left of Valley Plaza, and while I do, I'm gonna give you a little bit of information about it. Most of this is stuff that I already talked about in that full segment that I did, but just in case you haven't seen it, I'm gonna give you that information again while we get one last look at Valley Plaza. So the shopping center opened up in 1951, and at the time it was one of the largest shopping centers. It's also one of the first, some say it's the very first, to have a large parking lot in front of the building, which seems kind of weird because now that's standard, but at the time it wasn't. But the people who created Valley Plaza knew that there was a large car culture here in Southern California, and that the freeways were growing, and the freeway actually was just extended to pass right by Valley Plaza. So when they opened it up, it had a parking lot to accommodate 4,000 vehicles. To me, seems like a little bit of overkill, but what do I know? Now, Valley Plaza was so significant back then that JFK made a stop here during his 1960 campaign trail, and there's actually a really cool picture of JFK's car coming down Laurel Canyon, and you can see the Valley Plaza sign behind him. Now, this building right here behind me, the Valley Plaza Tower, this was completed in 1960, and at the time it was the tallest building in the San Fernando Valley. Now, the plans that have been drawn up so far for demolition do not include the Valley Plaza Tower, so it looks like, luckily, it might get spared. Valley Plaza has also been a hotspot for filming. Like I mentioned, the last time we were here, we caught them filming something right over here in this area. They built an entire post-apocalyptic Las Vegas. It turned out that was for the show Fallout. But I also wanted to mention a few other things that have been filmed here over the years that include Magnolia, Pineapple Express, Straight Outta Compton, Captain Marvel, The Middle, the old 1960s Dragnet TV show, and that's really just to name a few. So many things have been filmed here over the years, and I know a lot of us that grew up in the San Fernando Valley have memories here at Valley Plaza. I've talked about how I have memories of coming here to shop with my dad. Also, I remember coming here during Christmas time and you could take a picture with Santa Claus, and they also had cages with reindeer in them. A lot of my subscribers wrote to tell me of their memories of Valley Plaza. A lot of those memories took place right over there at that movie theater. A lot of you remember coming to that movie theater to see some of the big 80s blockbuster films and also playing arcade games in the lobby of that movie theater. At one time, Valley Plaza had all of the big name businesses here. Of course, Sears, there was a Barbizon, there was a McMahon's Furniture, a lot of those names that, you know, kind of resonate with us that grew up in the 80s. But like I said, it's all gone now, and I really don't know what's going to become of this property. I don't know if they plan to tear it down and kind of rebuild it, and if it's going to stay Valley Plaza, or if they're going to tear it down and build some housing. I really have no idea, but I'm definitely sad that the shopping center that we all once knew and loved is going to be gone forever. The last time we were here, we said goodbye to Cassell's Music, a legendary San Fernando Valley music store. That's this building right here across the street, and I have not been over here since I made that video, and I just wanted to come by and see what the store looked like because, I mean, it's been Cassell's Music for so long, my entire life. I just wanted to see what it looked like now, and I was shocked when I pulled up and saw how different the building looks. They've stuccoed over all of the stone. Of course, they've given it a paint job. They changed the top up there. They thickened up that pillar. Now, Cassell's Music, of course, was made famous in the 90s movie Wayne's World. This is where Wayne would come and obsess and eventually purchase that white-on-white Fender Stratocaster guitar.
Oh yes, it will be mine.
And just a couple of weeks after I was here making my video, and just a few days before the music store closed their doors forever, my Valley Pass did a screening of Wayne's World inside of Cassell's Music, and Tia Carrere made a special appearance. And of course, it's really sad to see this legendary San Fernando Valley shop gone forever, but I'm really glad that the owner is finally getting to get out there and enjoy his life, and I'm curious to see what's going to be in this space next. So this is a really cool update. I'm sitting in the parking lot at Saticoy and Reseda, right in front of the Denny's, and behind me across the street is the old car wash and hamburger hot dog stand that's been a few different things over the years. At one time it was a Fat Burger, it was Home Run hot dogs, it was a bunch of stuff. It was used in My Name is Earl, the Runaways movie, few other things that I can't think of right now. Now the hamburger stand shut down a while ago, but the car wash was still open. Then maybe about a year or two ago, the car wash closed and they gated it off, and there were signs that said it was scheduled for demolition. And I talked about how I wished someone would buy the property, fix it up, and reopen it. And I was really surprised when I drove by today and found that the gate was down and the car wash was open again. It's been fixed up and it looks great. Now the hamburger hot dog stand is still closed. The windows are boarded up. The sign says smog check. I think after the hamburger stand closed, they were just using the sign for the smog check place that used to be behind it. There's still graffiti on the building. So as of right now, the hamburger hot dog stand is not open, but who knows? They might get that going again in the future too. But either way, I'm just happy that the car wash is open again and both of these buildings didn't get torn down. A couple of classic Valley buildings that got saved. This hamburger shack that you see behind me is Bill's Burgers, and it was purchased by Bill Elwell in the 1960s, and he started grilling burgers on a flat top grill that had been here since the 1930s. And Bill believed that it was that flat top grill that made his burgers taste so good, so he continued to grill burgers on that very same flat top right up until July of this year, when Bill sadly passed away at the age of 98. But Bill was still inside of this building grilling up burgers on the very same flat top grill that had been here since the 30s in his 90s. Amazing. Now, Bill's Burgers had a very brief name change. For a short period of time, it was called Bill and Hiroku's. Some news outlets say that Hiroku is one of his ex-wives. Bill had a few ex-wives. and other news outlets say that they were never married and she was just his business partner. But either way, the good news is Hiroku is back at Bill's Burgers. Her and her son are inside grilling up burgers on that very same flat top grill, and they say there's no plans of shutting the doors or changing anything at Bill's Burgers. So although the man himself is no longer here, you can still grab one of his famous burgers at a legendary San Fernando Valley spot. So right here behind me, you can see Valley Sports Cards, also known as Valley Baseball Cards. That was the original name. And once again, my last Valley video that I did, we came here to Valley Sports Cards. Decided to film this in my car because it's about 100 degrees out and there's about 1 million people in this parking lot. But anyways, I did an entire segment on them, and I showed the original location, which is actually just behind this building. We then came into the new shop. I bought some Garbage Pail Kids and some baseball cards at a very reasonable price. And while I was in there, I got to meet the owner, Alex. Now, I had talked to him on the phone before, but we had never met in person. And we talked for about 10 or 15 minutes, and he was a very nice guy. And just recently, I was in the Valley and I decided to stop off and see if they got any more Garbage Pail Kids in. And I was surprised to find that the shop was closed because it was in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week. And I noticed that there was a sign in the window with a picture of somebody. And I got out to get a closer look, and I noticed that it was a picture of the owner, Alex. And I was sad to find out that in July, Alex suddenly passed away in his sleep. And I was just in here in June talking to him, so it had to have been just a couple of weeks after I was talking to him. Just from that short conversation that I had with him, it was very obvious to me that he loved this shop very much, and he loved his customers, and he loved his employees, and he loved baseball. The good news is, supposedly the shop is going to remain open. It was closed all summer long, but his employees found a way to get it opened back up. They just opened back up recently, but I believe right now they're only open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Not really sure why. I've been here for about 5 minutes and I've seen about a dozen people show up and peek through the window. Hopefully in the future they'll be able to expand the hours, but I believe for now it's just Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. This is the new and current location of Valley Sports Cards. And then if we walk right over here, this is the original location of Valley Sports Cards, or Valley Baseball Cards. And it looks like it's gonna be a barber shop, but what I'm sad about is it's no longer pink. You can see the rest of the shopping center is still pink, just like Valley Baseball Cards used to be. Now, as sad as I am that they're not in their original location, I gotta say this new location is really nice, really clean and roomy, and they've got a really big selection with really reasonable prices. So if you're into sports memorabilia or trading cards, please stop by and show some support. So this entire video is becoming an update of my last 2 videos, which I guess isn't necessarily a bad thing, but here we are in front of my old townhouse at the corner of Sherman Way in Tampa. And once again, we were just here, I believe it was for my very last Valley video. I told the story of when I broke my arm right over there. And while I was here telling that story, I told a couple of other stories that ended up getting cut from the video because that video ran really long. And they were also really dumb stories. But I decided to throw them in here. So here you go. Here's some unused footage. Okay, 2 more really quick, really stupid stories that happened here. These are dumb, but just so I can get all my stories out of me. I remember one day I was standing right here in the garage and I had a box of those poppers, and a car came into the driveway, and as it passed our garage, I threw a bunch of the poppers at the tires of the car. The guy started backing up, and I was like, ah! And I went running inside and told my dad, there's some guy, I don't know, he wants to beat me up or something. And the guy says, yeah, your kid threw something at my car. I told my dad it was the poppers. My dad apologized to the guy left, and my dad scolded me. The guy lived like right around the corner down at the other end. And after that, I didn't go over there because I thought that the guy, I don't know what I thought. Thought he was really holding a grudge. So I stayed away from his side. I'm sure the guy never thought about it after that day. But I remember that the guy looked exactly like Sting. And I remember a Sting video came on MTV and it kind of freaked me out. I think I might have even had like a dream that Sting was trying to kill me or something. the hell's wrong with me? Okay, one more. I think this one is slightly more interesting. I remember one day, me and my friend, his name was Mandeep, he lived on the other side. We both had the day off school and we were hanging out. We were just kind of walking around doing nothing. And we had cap guns that we had got off of the ice cream truck. We even walked down here. Well, I don't think you can see it from here, but down on the corner, there's a gas station. We were like walking all around. As we're walking back, we see all these cop cars come flying past, like undercover cops, black and white cops, and they all come speeding past us and they make a quick right into our building, like peel around the corner, and we're like, whoa, what's going on? So we come running down the sidewalk and we go right over here. We look down this path and down at the end, all of those cop cars are all there. And so we go walking down there and we're like getting in the middle of it, looking around. All of a sudden, like one of the cops walks up to us, he looks at us, and then he yells, "Hey, Sarge, these are the two." And we're like, so he comes over to us and, he's like, "Why aren't you guys in school? What are you doing?" We told him. And he's like, "You guys don't have any weapons on you, do you?" We're like, "No, we just have these cap guns," and we pull them out. And he's like, "Yeah, okay." He's like, "We got a call about two youths walking around with guns." And I mean, these were cap guns that we got off the ice cream truck. They had the orange tip on it and everything, but some neighbor called the cops and but whatever. After that, the cops were really cool. I remember the sergeant, he was older, and I remember him asking us like, whatever happened to the guns that, back in the day you would lick it and it would stick, and I didn't know what he was talking about. I realized later he was talking about dart guns. I was just noticing the sidewalk right here. Like I said, this was my unit right here, and the sidewalk was definitely not like this. And the reason why I know this is I have a video that's actually shot from that window right over there. My mom was sitting in that window shooting a video. We had my launch ramp right here. We were skating the launch ramp. So this was definitely not like this. The tree has pushed up the sidewalk in the last, I don't know, 30 years. Oh my gosh. See, I told you there were stupid stories. All right, well, till next time, San Fernando Valley. Hope you enjoyed this. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.